And welcome everyone back to the Crimson Tide Sports Network Facebook page. It's time for another edition of Quarantine Q&A, and that's always presented by Alabama One. They've been voted Tuscaloosa's best credit union and mortgage lender. Alabama One Credit Union offers low-rate auto, mortgage, and business loans, plus protection for it all. With Alabama One Insurance, you can visit any of their 9 local branches, or you can check them out online at alabama1.org. Alabama One, a proud supporter of Crimson Tide Athletics. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you today across the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and it's time to talk a little baseball as we welcome in Alabama assistant coach and the hitting coach for the Crimson Tide, Jerry Zulli. Coach, roll Tide. How's everything going?
Doing great, Roger. Thank you for having me.
Well, baseball's been in the news and the capstone over the last couple weeks because of the Major League Baseball draft, and we certainly got some great news in the third round when Tyler Gentry, one of your outfielders, was selected by the Kansas City Royals. Just how excited were you for that news?
Really excited. Just really, glad that Tyler had a chance to, spend 2 years with them, and I think our entire coaching staff, our entire team was just ecstatic to see, Tyler get this opportunity and really do well for himself. So we're very, very proud of him and just excited to follow him as he moves forward.
Yeah, you were involved in recruiting him to come to Alabama after he had been in junior college baseball. What did you see of him first when he arrived on campus, and then what kind of hitter did he kind of evolve in near the end of his time?
Well, one thing, Tyler's originally from the Memphis, Tennessee area, and luckily knowing a lot of people in that area, one thing I've learned very quickly about Tyler is that he could always hit. Tyler was a tremendous hitter, and you could see that just through his time in junior college. Had a tremendous, freshman campaign in Walter State. Very physical. If you've seen Tyler play, which I know a lot of Alabama fans have, very physical, obviously power. One thing I don't think that he gets credit for enough is just really how good of an overall baseball player he is. Because the first thing you see with Tyler is you see the power and the home runs, but he's a really, really good baseball player.
Yeah, what else would you tell Kansas City Royals fans they can expect from him down the road?
He's one, and I getting a chance to talk to a lot of the scouts before the draft and things of that nature, and that was a lot of things were asked. And he's an exceptional base runner, very instinctive player. You're getting a guy that just really outworks a lot of people. So I would tell the Kansas City organization that they've done a great job, and they're getting a really, really good baseball player overall. Tremendous outfielder. Great instincts, and in today a lot of people just kind of pay attention to just the batter's box or things of that nature and don't appreciate necessarily the small parts of our game, and Tyler's really, really good at those things.
And he was selected in the third round by the Royals, and with the COVID-19 pandemic and Major League Baseball having a delayed start this year, it doesn't look like there will be a minor league season. They made the decision to only go to 5 rounds of the draft. And I'm kind of curious, from a college baseball perspective, how does that change things for you guys, not only in the roster makeup of your current team, but also in recruiting down the road?
Well, if you look at our 2020 roster, it does affect it a little bit because with the NCAA allowing years to get back, and then only being a 5-round major league draft, a lot of, and this is not just benefited the University of Alabama, our program, but it also benefited, I think, college baseball across the board. That you're seeing a lot of young men that would have been drafted maybe round 6 through 10, or that would have had a chance to sign, are actually going to be showing up on campus. That's overall. I think that's how you're going to see. I think it's a great time for college baseball. I think it's going to be stronger next year than it ever has been, and I expect us to be the same.
And then along those lines, we've heard before about some minor league baseball contraction plans, eliminating maybe as much as 40 teams and a lot of the low levels of the minors. Do you think that'll encourage some players to maybe stay in college for that extra year, or especially high school players to make sure they fulfill their commitment to college?
I do, because when you're kind of forced to make that decision and you have the opportunity to be thinking that way, you kind of have to look at the overall college experience. And I think that's one thing that's so unique because, I know I'm a little biased, but I think here at the University of Alabama, we provide the best college experience across the country, and then you have families that truly value education. And then when you get a chance to see our resources and what we do to provide our student athletes throughout their college experience, and to get an Alabama degree, it's such a special thing that weighs a lot in their decision. So I do see that more and more kids, that's the trend, that they are coming to college. Which you're going to see an even more talented roster. And with that being said.
Yeah, one of the concerns in Major League Baseball about some of the low levels of the minors is facilities. You got to love, as a baseball coach at Alabama, you're able to sell Sewell Thomas Stadium, the hitting facilities, just everything's right there. And I imagine the stadium and then the atmosphere on, say, a Friday night, Saturday afternoon is also a big selling point for you all.
It really is. We're very fortunate. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It provides an unbelievable atmosphere to watch a baseball game. It's super fan friendly, but more importantly, I think it just gives our players, every resource that they need to be successful, and to help develop to really see how good of a baseball player that they could become. Just with all the amenities, and I know you mentioned the hitting facility, and I spend most of my life in that thing, and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. And it provides our players with an opportunity to get better at every skill that they have.
Let's take it back to this season and getting ready for the year. Anytime I interviewed Coach Bohannon, he just had this quiet confidence about this team this year, and you never like to talk too much about expectations, but getting off to a 16-1 start certainly seemed like it matched his expectations, may have even exceeded it a bit. Just how pleased were you with what you were seeing from the Crimson Tide on the field to begin the year?
We were really excited. And right, when you talk about the expectations and things like that, we do. Coach Bohannon does an unbelievable job as far as just really setting the expectations of what we want here in our program, and our guys really bought into that. And it's an unbelievable group of young men. We were young in a lot of areas, but we were talented. And the way that he really helped make it cohesive, and the chemistry about our guys, you could tell they really loved each other. They loved to play together. They were around each other all the time, and it's a true working environment. So to get off to a 16-1 start, and right on about to start SEC play before the COVID stuff happened. Obviously we were really, really excited to start SEC play, and had big, expectations of how we were going to do. But yeah, I couldn't speak enough of how these young guys came out and performed. But Roger, they work, man. They work extremely hard. And they value, and they expect to win themselves. So when you have that kind of environment and they're feeding off of each other, it's fun to really be a part of.
Yeah, earlier we talked about Tyler Gentry and the changes he made getting ready for this season, but we could really go up and down the lineup and point to everybody. A lot of the hard work they did in the hitting cage with you really seemed to pay off early in the year.
Well, yeah, I don't want any credit for anything, because these guys could hit before they ever came here. So it's not that. When you speak of a young man like Tyler Gentry, I mean, and if you look back at his sophomore season here, he had a good season. The one thing me and Tyler sat down and says, okay, you have a chance to be an elite player. What can we do what can you do to raise the bar and go a little bit, make it even better? And one thing that we did was we talked about, breaking down his approach and really improving that part of his game, not necessarily his swing. Tyler had a really, really good swing. And, so in doing that, all of a sudden, and helping him learn, how these guys were attacking him, and being able to hit breaking balls earlier in the count, and things of that nature. And he took to it really well. And obviously once that happened, confidence grew, and not that he was dangerous to begin with, but he was going to be one of the top animals in the SEC. So I'm obviously something very proud of. But you're right, up and down the lineup, it's a very fun group to work with. They work extremely hard. I could sit here and talk to you, Roger, all day about every one of them, man. And I know it's easy to see the passion that comes out of me, but I love those guys. I think they're tremendous, and I think they're going to have great careers here.
And one guy I think Alabama fans are really rooting for, just because of the adversity he faced last year, was the catcher Sam Prater. What did you like about his start to the season and coming back from injury in the way he did?
I was so excited for Sam just because, obviously, being here, seeing, the freshman year and the growth that he has made, not only as a baseball player, but just growing up as a young man, and battling the injury and watching him go through that process. And he was so diligent about his work and everything that he did. And he expected to do well. And if you ever spend any time around Sam, he's a very confident young man. And so when he got off to such a good start, we were so excited because of just the good things were happening for him. But yeah, I mean, Sam's a tremendous worker, and he's another one that has a chance to be one of the top hitters in our league.
Then how about the freshman class for Alabama? I think Owen Diodati took everybody, not by surprise, but he got on everybody's radar with the start he had that opening weekend. We saw Peyton Wilson be an SEC Freshman of the Week. You had to love the work your freshmen were putting in.
Yeah, I think that tells a lot to do, with just throughout the recruiting process and the way Coach Bohannon has kind of, really worked to build this roster. They're very confident young men, and we're very excited for the challenge. And you mentioned Diodati. I mean, that's some serious power, Roger. Like that's that.
Can he teach power, or is he just having?
No, that young man is extremely strong, and he's still working to become an even better hitter than what he naturally is, but he can really hit. And Peyton Wilson is such a versatile player. He's so athletic, and I know that's a name that Alabama fans are familiar with, and they're going to be familiar with Peyton. I mean, he's going to be all over the field, and I mean, he's a tremendous hitter. He can do so much in just his offensive game. But then there's guys like, Jim Jarvis and guys that we haven't had a chance to see yet, Will Hamiter, and guys in that freshman class that are really gonna stand out as this thing keeps moving forward.
Another freshman that certainly made an impact for the Crimson Tide was Connor Prelip, Friday night starter, and around 12, 13 years of broadcasting college baseball. You've seen a lot of hyped pitchers coming out of high school, but they don't always live up to the hype like he has as a hitting coach, and you're seeing your guys even go up against him. What can you tell us about Connor Prelip and what he brings to this team?
Yeah, Connor's special, especially young man, very talented. Tremendous pitcher, and to see just him, the maturity that he's shown and the competitiveness that he would show. Honestly, I don't want to. I don't want to sound. I was not surprised at all because getting a chance to see him against our hitters, and I knew we had a very good group of hitters. So to see what he was doing against our guys, I didn't feel as bad knowing that he was about to do that to other people as well. But yeah, he's tremendous, and it's great when you have that type of pitching staff. I think Coach Jackson does an unbelievable job. I think he's probably one of the best on the planet at what he does. But when you have that kind of pitching staff and you get a chance to practice and you're around those guys every day, and that's what you're facing before you face live competition, it really does prepare you for SEC play and things of that nature. So yeah, Connor's special. That's fun when you see him tee off again, tee up with TJ Reeves in an inter-squad game, and it's just us in a practice setting, but it's probably one of the most competitive moments that you'll have. So yeah, it's a fun environment to be in.
You mentioned earlier about the maturity of this team and how the guys really love playing with each other, and that was certainly tested with the COVID-19 pandemic and the season ending right before conference play was set to begin against Missouri. Just how did you see your players handle that news and in the last few weeks and as they try to get going with summer baseball, however they may look like?
Well, it was unique when it all happened, right there in March, because I think when it all happened, it was so initial, everything was happening so quick. The information that you were getting was that you thought you may be able to come back and then may be able to come, and so once you realize that, okay, we're probably not going to be having a college baseball season, I think our guys have done an unbelievable job of using this time to truly get better. In every capacity that they were able to. I know our pitchers were on their throwing programs, and they were able to work out wherever they could, and they really spent this time to truly get better and invest in themselves, and so that's been exciting to see that that those guys have been able to invest that kind of time and not sit around and do anything that probably they shouldn't. They finished really strong in the classroom, which was positive, and so we're excited as far as as the summer keeps going and hopefully getting them back here soon.
You and I are talking via Skype right now on our Facebook page, and I imagine you've spent a lot of time in front of your computer having a lot of meetings maybe like this, trying to recruit for the Crimson Tide, and it seems like, we won't get into specifics, but it seems like there has been some good recruiting news for the Tide recently.
It has been, and luckily, we've been able to, obviously we've got recruiting lists, and every class as this thing keeps moving forward. But yeah, recruiting in the, during this time has been so different with us not being able to be on the road, and I think we're all adjusting. It's very unique. I mean, you're watching a million live streams and videos of any way that you possibly can. So we've all had to learn to adapt a little bit. And just figure out another way to see these young men and stay connected with them, and obviously travel coaches and high school coaches and things of that nature. So yeah, it's been a very good learning experience as far as all the video and live streams and things that you've been able to see.
Yeah, has your family gotten used to seeing you so much in spring and summer? Probably the first time in a long time that's happened.
Yeah, right. It's been different. I think I haven't been home in the spring. In fact, I don't remember, probably since I've been a part of a baseball team, my entire life. So it's been unique. It's been good. We found our rhythm. I'm very fortunate. I got 2 young kids that I've gotten a chance to spend an awful lot of time with that I'm very appreciative of. And but yes, I'm not the most handy man or anything like that. So after I checked off a few lists that my wife Kristen wanted to do, I think she's ready for us to be able to go out and recruit again and go try to find some really good players.
No doubt. Well, as we start to wrap things up, just what are kind of the next steps for you? And Alabama does have some guys playing in some wooden bat leagues. Just what can you tell us about their progress and kind of what the next few weeks may look like for you all?
Yeah, a couple. There have been a few summer leagues that have been able to open up. I know it's hard. They're all, dealing with the COVID challenges, and we're very fortunate that our guys have staying active, and a few of them have decided to play. The tough part is that you're not. It's hard to be able to follow as far as live stream and stats of that nature, but they are working extremely hard, and they're staying active, and we're really excited about the progress that they're making.
Well, we're excited with the progress this baseball program is making with you guys in control, and we just thank you for joining us today, Coach. Roll Tide.
Thanks, Roger. Roll Tide.
All right, that is Coach Jerry Zulli. Thanks to him for joining us for another edition of Quarantine Q&A presented by Alabama One. We'll have more coming up later in the week. Thanks for watching, everyone.